Hey guys, I'm Chris.
And I'm Andy.
And today we're going to be going through our top 10 favorite movies of 2019. This is easily our biggest video of the year and the one that I'm the most excited to make.
Yeah, for sure. I'm real excited to let you guys know our list. And most of these movies we've reviewed on the channel, in-depth reviews, so you guys can go back and look at them because we're not going to be talking too in-depth about these movies. But before we say our top 10, I think we should give 3 honorable mentions of the year. Movies that didn't make our list, but that were pretty good. And I think one of them was definitely Jordan Peele's Us. I really liked what he did there with that.
That's definitely an honorable mention. And then I would say Spider-Man Far From Home. Really fun MCU movie.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And then El Camino I thought was really good too. A good Breaking Bad movie.
So before we give you guys our top 10 lists, we wanted to let you know that we both have separate lists and we have not told each other our list yet so that we can have a genuine reaction.
Yeah, for sure. And that's going to be fun. And how we're going to do this is we're going to go 10 through 6. I'll say mine 10 through 6, and then you can say yours. And then I'll do my 5 through 2, and then you do your 5 through 2, and then we'll reveal our 1 at the end.
Also, we didn't get a chance to see every movie that was released in 2019. Mainly 1917, which has not come out here where we live. It doesn't come out until January 10th. We will have a review for that on the channel when it comes out. And some other notable movies are Little Woman and Jojo Rabbit.
So coming in at number 10 is Ford vs. Ferrari. I thought that this was a great movie. Christian Bale and Matt Damon both gave great performances that I really connected with. All the racing stuff was super well shot and intense, and that whole final race kept me interested the whole time, and in the ending, surprisingly emotional. So moving on, number 9 is Knives Out. Rian Johnson redeemed himself in this movie from The Last Jedi, and I thought his writing in this movie was great. The cast was also so much fun, like seeing Chris Evans play like that, and then Ana de Armas was a surprising role, and then of course Daniel Craig in the lead role. I thought he was great.
Yeah.
And then that final shot, perfect way to end the movie.
I'm surprised, sorry to cut in, I'm surprised Knives Out not a little higher on your list.
Really?
Yeah.
I liked it a lot, but anyways, number 8 is Toy Story 4, the only animated movie on my list this year. It really was the only good animated movie I saw, and I thought this was a great entry to the Toy Story trilogy, adding on to it. I thought some parts were unnecessary and Gabby Gabby was stupid, but Buzz and Woody's adventure was great, and then where they ended up in the end was very emotional and satisfying. Yeah. Number 7 for me is Midsommar, Ari Aster's second movie. I thought he really knocked it out of the ballpark with this one. The cast is so good. Florence Pugh is so good in the lead role as Danny, and then Will Poulter in the supporting role constantly hitting his vape is so freaking funny. All the trippy stuff in this movie I love seeing, and then by the end of the movie where the cult takes them, it just was crazy. And I really like the score in this movie too. It's definitely one of my favorite scores of the year. And Ari Aster, I'm excited to see what he does next. And then finally at number 6, this movie was a big movie this year and it was very long, but The Irishman comes in at number 6 for me. I thought that all the acting in this movie was great. Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and especially Joe Pesci. I want him to win supporting actor. He had so many great scenes, and then Martin Scorsese shot this movie so well and really kept me interested throughout the 3 hours and 30 minutes. It's a long movie, I hear that a lot, but by the end of this movie, it really pays off, I thought, and the last hour was perfect. So I thought all those movies really lived up to the hype this year.
Yeah, that's a solid 10 through 6 right there, and you'll definitely see some similarities on my list. So coming in at number 10 for me is Rocketman. This is one of the most fun times I've had at the movies this year. I loved seeing Taron Egerton's portrayal of Elton John, and this movie is miles better than Bohemian Rhapsody and probably one of my favorite music biopics in recent years.
Yeah, it's better than Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, definitely. I don't even want to talk about that movie. But coming in at number 9 for me is Ford v Ferrari, and this is a blast. This is it's a blockbuster, but it's got a lot of heart to it, and I love seeing Bale and Damon. They've got such great chemistry. I would love to see one of them get an Oscar nom. Not sure if it's going to happen, but the racing sequences in this movie are outstanding. I was on the edge of my seat, and Mangold's direction, outstanding. I'd also love to see him get an Oscar nom.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, this one's going to be a little bit of a shocker for a lot of you out there, including you. Coming in at number 8 is Parasite.
Dang.
This movie, one of the most cleverly written scripts I've seen in years. Bong Joon-ho, phenomenal director. I hope he gets a nom. And I'd love to see some of the actors get nominations too. But the way the story is told, how it just there's kind of a twist midway through, really refreshing. And this movie is completely, I was just locked in the whole time. That's really all I got to say.
Yeah, I'm glad it made your list though.
Yeah.
At least it was on your top 10.
Yeah, it was. I really like that movie and I can't wait to buy it on Blu-ray. But coming in at number 7 is going to be Knives Out. Like you said, Rian Johnson did in fact redeem himself, thank the Lord. Last Jedi, I don't want to talk about that. But Chris Evans was a standout for me, as well as Daniel Craig. I loved the mystery behind it. It was just a fun time. Ana de Armas was great. A lot of chemistry with the cast that was awesome, and a very unique story. I thought I knew where it was going, but then again, he kind of twisted it, so I really didn't know what was going to happen in the end. One of the best times I've had at the movies. And coming in at number 6, I believe this was also your number 6, is Martin Scorsese's The Irishman. Just a mob epic, and I love seeing De Niro, Pesci, and Pacino on screen with Scorsese behind the camera. We're probably not going to see this again, and that's sad, but this was a great way for them to go out. The 3 hour and 30-minute runtime kind of steers some people away. I completely disagree. I was invested in the story from beginning to end. Sure, they could have chopped out like 20 minutes, but in the end, I can't wait to rewatch this one day when I'm in the right mood. It's just a fantastic gangster movie. Before we get into our top 5 movies of the year, if you're still watching along, be sure to like this video, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It would mean a lot to us. And comment down below what your top 5 or top 10 is, and what your favorite movie of the year is. But getting with your 5 through 2.
All right, so these are the best movies of the year right here. The peak movies of the year right here.
Yeah,
so.
I'm excited to hear what you got to say.
All right, so number 5 for me, this was tough to put here, but I absolutely love this movie, and Joaquin Phoenix gave the performance of the year, I thought, and I really want him to win Best Actor. Joker, what a great movie. And from start to finish, I was so entertained with this movie. Todd Phillips really did a great job coming from The Hangover over to Joker. And it just felt so real, too. Had those, like, Taxi Driver vibes to it. And Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur and Joker, he just blended it so well. Like, the mental diseases and the laughs and everything. And then, obviously, when he became Joker on The Murray Show, I just love that. And then that final touch with him in the end, you wouldn't get it. So, number 4, this is a big movie. It was really hard to put it here, but I had to, and that's Avengers Endgame.
Wow.
4th Avengers, 4th movie of the year. I love this movie. It's my favorite Marvel movie of all time. Not my favorite superhero movie, though, but I think that what the Russo brothers did with this movie is pretty much perfect. I had a blast in the theater with this. So many emotions going through this movie, whether it's Cap getting the hammer or Tony Stark dying at the end. It was a roller coaster, and I loved seeing the time travel and everything involved in this. All the characters got to shine, and just that final moment with Cap, Avengers Assemble, it gets me every time. I love this movie, but it wasn't better than my top 3. And coming in at number 3, Adam Sandler, Uncut Gems. What a great movie this was.
Oh, yeah.
I loved what the Safdie brothers did with this, and I was expecting it to be really good, but it blew my expectations out of the water. Kevin Garnett and Adam Sandler are a great duo in this movie. They have a lot of good back and forth, and then the supporting cast as well. Julia Fox, the guys who are the gangsters, they're all really good, and then Adam Sandler just gives his best performance. I think I really want him to get an Oscar nom, and he just really went throughout this movie. I just loved it, and the story was so entertaining with like the gems and all that stuff. It was just really good.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So, coming at number 2 and 1 were really hard to decide between, but I had to do it. And coming in at number 2 was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Tarantino, my favorite director, and Leo and Brad Pitt are the best duo of the year. I love their back and forth, their chemistry, just seeing them chilling on the couch watching the movies together, and then of course at the end when they just beat the shit out of those Manson people is perfect ending for this movie. Tarantino has so many little touches throughout this movie that I loved. And he just gives subtle hints, like the flamethrower in the beginning, you see it in the background, and then it comes to pay off in the end. And I just love what he did with Sharon Tate, how he let her live and everything. It was just one of his best movies for sure, and one of the better movies of the decade, I think.
I agree. That's a really solid 5 through 2. And kicking off my top 5 is going to be, coming in at number 5, Toy Story 4. This is the best animated movie of the year, hands down, and a movie that I didn't think we needed when it got announced, but I was wrong. The final 20 minutes of this movie are extremely emotional, and I love the new characters of Forky, Duke Kaboom, and Ducky and Bunny. They're all really funny additions to the franchise, and the story of Woody is timeless. It applies to any age, and to infinity and beyond. It gets me every time. Coming in at number 4 for me is going to be the recently released Uncut Gems. Adam Sandler gives the performance of his life, his entire career, in my opinion. The man completely transformed into the character of Howard Ratner. That was his name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just...
Howard.
He made such awful decisions, and it really turned your stomach throughout the movie, seeing what he was doing, but you were on his side at the same time throughout the movie. It was a very interesting premise, and the Safdie brothers directed the hell out of this movie. I can't wait to see what they do next. It had such an eerie feel throughout the whole movie, and it was intense, and when the movie ended, I felt a sense of relief. But coming in at number 3, I am shocked to say this, and that is Joker, directed by Todd Phillips.
Dang.
This movie, when we reviewed it, I wasn't as high on it as you, but it has completely grown on me, and ever since I've rewatched it, I haven't been able to get it out of my head. Joaquin Phoenix gives the performance almost of the decade, I'd say. It is outstanding, and he better win the Oscar. This movie is so dark, but it also has few comedic moments throughout it, and everything about it. It's a superhero movie, but it doesn't feel like one. It's super gritty, and it really makes you think about the world and look at it through a different lens. And I hope we see more standalone DC villain movies in the future, because this movie's grown on me, and trust me, I'm just as surprised as you are that it's in my top 3. But coming in at number 2 for me is going to be Avengers Endgame, the biggest movie of the year, no doubt. My favorite MCU movie for sure. It tugs on all the heartstrings, and you've got some intense moments too, such as, like you said, when Avengers assemble or when Cap wields Mjolnir for the first time. But when Tony Stark dies at the end, I was crying. Who wasn't? It was so emotional. This was a perfect send-off for the Infinity Saga.
Coming in at number 1 for me, this is going to be a movie that a lot of people might have not seen on this list, but I highly recommend you guys go out and watch it. And just because it's a foreign film doesn't mean anything. And that movie is Parasite. I thought that this was definitely the best movie of the year for sure. Bong Joon-ho. This is my first movie I've seen from him, but what he did in this movie was spectacular. And I think he should definitely get a Best Director nom. Whether it's him introducing The Rock at the beginning and then the payoff at the end, or all the characters in this movie had such little quirks to them that I loved, whether it's like the sister, I'm just going to call her Jessica, and then the brother Kevin, I think that was his name that they called him. He was really good too. And then both the families, like seeing their dynamics like mesh together was great. And then of course that huge twist that just changes the movie from there. And I just loved that twist. I was on board with everything that Bong Joon-ho was doing with this movie. And I think that the last 30 minutes of this movie are like crazy. Especially the party scene is very crazy. And I just love this movie. I loved everything about it. It's subtitles, but I got past it, of course. And by the end of this movie, I was like, dang, this is my movie of the year. It wasn't a 10 out of 10, but it was a 9.5 for sure. And I can't wait to see like this movie get a lot of love at the Oscars. I think it will.
Yeah, I definitely hope that movie gets love from the Oscars. Like you said, I hope it gets a director nom for sure, if anything.
Yeah, for sure.
But coming in at number 1 for me is going to be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the 9th film by Quentin Tarantino, and this movie has aged like fine wine. I mean, ever since I saw it, it's just grown on me more and more. And the main reason is because Rick Dalton and Cliff Booth, played by Leo and Brad Pitt, are my favorite duo of the year and probably in the history of any Tarantino film. They're such a fun duo, and I love just listening to them have conversations on screen and watching their days in Hollywood. It's just so much fun. And people argue this movie doesn't have a story until the third act. I completely disagree. You're just following these characters in Hollywood, and that's the point of the movie. It's a perfect love letter to Hollywood, and once it does get to that third act, it's perfect from there on out. The payoff is outstanding. It's hilarious and intense at the same time, and when the credits rolled, I was just stunned at how great this movie was.
Well, that's a wrap on our top 10 of 2019. I hope you guys enjoy the list and don't flame.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun making this video, and we hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It would mean the world to us. We've got a lot of videos coming out in 2020, so stay tuned, and be sure to like this video, and make sure to comment your top 10 down below. Do you agree with ours or you disagree? We'd love to hear your thoughts. So until next time, see you guys later.
See you guys.